Hello again, everyone. It's that thing I do at the start of the podcasts where I introduce the people. This week we have MrHyubusa, Hyubusa, if you know him by that name, that way of saying it. Anyway, another live streamer on Twitch, does Borderlands content as well as a bunch of other games. Had an interesting chat with him. Got into some, I guess, deeper topics than I have in the last ones. We talked about a medical problem that he is having with his eyes at the moment and a couple of other things. But yeah, it was a really interesting podcast to do, and I hope you enjoy it. Hello, everybody. I'm Mr. Gruntle. My real name is Kai, and welcome to the podcast. I'm here with another much-loved streamer of Borderlands, who you all should have watched, and if you haven't, go watch it. Do it. It's Mr.Hyubusa. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So, in this...
Good to be here.
Yeah. It's good to have you. In this podcast, just like the others, we'll be delving into your journey from gaming to streaming and anything interesting that we might want to chat about in between. The format is kind of chronological order, except for when I speak, because usually I jump all over the place and end up completely the wrong place from where I wanted to go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be interesting to see what you currently do on Twitch. It's what I'm looking for, and what you're going to do in the future. Because I'm quite out of the loop with the old game stories, but people find them interesting, so we'll talk about those too.
Cool.
Yeah, and we'll end on a bit of a Q&A. It worked well last time, but the first two times it was kind of a bit lackluster in that, but hopefully there will be some questions there and we can answer those. If not, I've got a bunch anyway. So yeah, let's do this.
Cool.
Hyubusa, when did you begin gaming, and like what kind of games did you start with?
I've been gaming literally since I can remember. My parents had an Atari when I was a wee lad, and I remember playing Space Invaders at the age of 2 and 3.
Wow.
I didn't get my first gaming system until much later, but after school, my mom worked first shift, my dad worked second shift, so after school there's nobody home, so I would go stay with my aunt, and my cousin had a NES. And so I played that pretty much every day as well. So yeah, since I can remember, I've been playing games.
Right. So the Atari, was that, did your parents actually game themselves, or?
Yeah, my mom is a huge addict of the old school Atari stuff. She loves
Wow.
Pac-Man and Space Invaders and stuff.
Wait, still now?
Yeah, she still loves those games.
Wow.
She does a lot of pad games now. Farmville and Candy Crush and stuff, but she still likes the old school Atari stuff.
Right.
My
cool.
dad games a little bit. He was into a few NES games back in the day, like Zelda 2 Link's Adventure, and which that's actually one of my favorite video game memories. We'll get into that later.
Mm-hmm.
And he played a lot of fighting games with me when I was a teenager, like Tekken
cool.
and Street Fighters and Turtle Tournament Fighters and all that stuff. So yeah, my parents game a little bit.
So I guess they're not against what you're doing now on Twitch and everything. Well, I mean, not against, but they're not like, "What are you doing? This is strange."
No, they're not. I've always been wanting to my whole life, my whole education, everything I had set up was so that I could work in the gaming industry.
Oh, right.
But it didn't work out for me for just whatever reason, just unlucky. So I ended up doing just general interactive media development, doing kiosk and websites and internet sites and museum exhibits for kids and all kinds of different stuff. So I actually love what I did do, but they're okay with what I'm doing now. Yeah, they're okay with it.
That's cool. So were there any kind of standout games on the, what was it? There's the Atari, which you were playing Space Invaders on, and then what did you go on to after that?
The NES.
NES,
the Nintendo, yeah. The Atari doesn't really have any standout games. I mean, it has its classics, right? I mean, there's Pac-Man and Galaga. Everybody has seen Pac-Man and Galaga and know how they work pretty much, right? So they don't really stand out. The first game that ever caught my attention was the original Zelda game on the NES. My cousin had that, and it blew my mind because Like in Mario, right? You start out on the left side of the screen, and you can't go left, so you have to go right, and then enemies come out, and if you don't jump over them or jump on them, you die, and it kind of teaches you how to play the game gradually.
Right.
But in Zelda, it's just you can go any direction you want and do anything you want to do, and
so that was your first adventure type game.
Yeah, and it really was the first like adventure type game like that. It was just I was just enthralled by it. I was burning every tree with my candle to see if it would reveal a secret staircase, and punching every rock, doing everything I could, man. I remember that so vividly. I've actually played it again on stream just because it's that much of one of those games to me. That's my first video game love, absolutely.
That's cool. So did you spend a lot of time doing that, or?
Yeah, man. Every school day I'd go over to my cousin's house, and I'd probably spend 2 or 3 hours a day on that at his house. Eventually I get my own NES, and the first game I got for it was Zelda, because I knew that game. My parents got it for me, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and later on, I mean, I got into Mario series and the Mega Man series a lot. Mario 3 was actually the first game I ever saved up my own money for and bought. My own money. Allowance is still my parents' money, right?
Right, yeah.
But yeah, it's there's a lot of good games on NES. NES is still one of my favorite systems. I'm still discovering games on it now that are really cool that I like a lot. Recently I played a game that a lot of people probably haven't heard of called Little Samson, and it was great. I mean, it's an amazing game. I don't know why nobody's ever heard of it. It was literally amazing. I mean, I was just buying it because it cost like hundreds and hundreds of dollars for the actual cartridge.
Oh whoa!
If not thousands, but if you can get it through other means and actually try it out and play it, it's well worth it. It's a very cool game. Very cool.
What is it? What is involved in it? Is it like a platforming type thing, or?
Yeah, it's platforming, but you have 4 characters or 3 characters that you play as. One's a rock golem, one's a little mouse, and one's a little dude who's Little Samson. And you're progressing through these levels, and each of those characters has their own abilities. Like the little mouse can shoot bombs, and he's small, so he can get through small cracks. Samson can platform really well. The rock golem doesn't get hurt by spikes, and you kind of have to switch between them to get through the levels. Yeah.
That's cool.
And it's really good. It's really, really good. But but you know, after that, I've had every console since then growing up. Super Nintendo is my favorite console of all time. I can list hundreds of games on that are in my favorites. My favorite game of all time is on the Super Nintendo. That'd be Chrono Trigger. It's a Japanese RPG, and it's awesome. It's really awesome.
Haven't heard of that one either. What is that one?
Chrono Trigger is a Japanese RPG, so it's a menu-based RPG, kind of like old Final Fantasy.
Okay.
And you basically start out as this kid. You wake up and you're going to go to the fair, and you end up accidentally traveling back through time because of one of your friend's inventions. But the girl that you met at the fair turns out to be the princess of the world you live in. So you have to rescue her and to put the timeline back to normal, or else things will screw up. And it's a whole thing where you start traveling through time and you find out about the Lavos, who is this creature who is in the core of the earth, and he's going to burst out of the earth in your time period and destroy it. And so you have to go back in time and gradually go through time and get the weapons and the abilities to kill Lavos before he destroys the world.
Okay.
And it's awesome. It's one of the best games it's still one of the best games I've ever played. It hasn't been beat yet.
Have they ever done like a remaster of it, or is it still?
No, they re-released it on everything. Like it's on iOS, it's on everything. But they made a sequel called Chrono Cross for the PS1. But it's not quite the same. That one's kind of travels between 2 dimensions rather than traveling through time. But it's a really good game still. It's just I don't think it's as good as Chrono Trigger.
Any other standout games on the Super Nintendo?
Oh yes, Mega Man X series. It's like Mega Man, which is the basic platformer where you shoot things, you fight a boss, you get a new weapon, and then you go shoot things for your new weapon.
Yep.
But you also get armor upgrades, and the feel of the game's a lot more fluid and precise, and it's amazing. I tried to play it again recently, and I actually forgot how hard the game actually is. It's pretty high in difficulty. Causes Gunzerker 44, a guy I stream with a lot. He wants to speedrun it, and I was trying to keep up with him speedrunning it, and it was a bad mistake. I just kept dying over and over again.
Oh, so you're playing while he was streaming?
Yeah, I was playing with him. We're
Oh, you would.
it at the
Oh,
same
okay.
time. Yeah. But Link to the Past, of course, on Super Nintendo is a classic. If you haven't played Link to the Past, play Link to the Past.
Yeah, I haven't played it.
Yeah. You said that you hadn't played many of these older games. When did you start playing?
Wow.
What system?
Not too long ago, actually. I mean, in primary school, sometimes someone would bring in a console like the Xbox or something with a game on it. Like I remember there was some wakeboarding game on an Xbox that I played, and then there was like someone brought their PS3 in, and it was Mortal Kombat, I think. But I never really played those much, and I didn't really have a console or any computer to game on at home up until what would it be? We got a PlayStation 1 when I think PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 were out.
Awesome.
Yeah, it had Spyro on it and Crash Bandicoot. Those are the kind of the two main games I started playing. Spyro,
Awesome,
I think it was Spyro Year of the Dragon. Still an incredible game, and I want to go back and play it at some point. Hopefully, I really want them to do like an HD remake of that on PC. I would buy 10 copies of that and give it to everyone and make them play it.
I would do all those Spyro, Ratchet and Clank, Crash Bandicoot, Sly Cooper, all those 3D action games on the PS1 and PS2. They were amazing.
Yeah. And
they're much better than the Nintendo one on the 64. Their action games were a little they sucked. I'm gonna be honest, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess that wasn't the main thing that console was used for. Platformers more, wasn't it?
Well, you know what? They like third-party companies released some okay ones. Like Conker's Bad Fur Day was pretty good, and there were some other ones too. But I know a lot of people don't share this opinion with me, but like the 64 Zeldas are horrible. They're impossible to play. The controls are horrible. The camera's horrible. The story and the sound design and the visuals are all just horrible. And
everyone still loves them though.
Yeah, and Zelda's one of my favorite series ever. But from the time those games came out, I hated them. It's not like I'm being a hipster about this. I got them, I played through them, and I hated them. I'd much rather play a Zelda on Game Boy, Nintendo, or any. But later on, when the Wii came out and the GameCube came out and Twilight Princess came out, that game was phenomenal. It's a good Zelda game, but it's just the 64 Zeldas. They're just no,
annoying.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, so I started gaming quite late in gaming's life. So
that's not a bad thing. At least you started, right?
Yeah. I think the first game that I played a lot of, because my mum wasn't so into the whole sitting for hours in front of a TV gaming. So whenever I played on the PS1, it was kind of limited to an hour of playing, which is just, it was very annoying. But like I see her point. I went outside a lot, and that was good.
Yeah.
But the first game I played a lot of was Minecraft, actually. I got quite into that for a time. So that was quite a kind of a few years after, more than a few years after I started on PS1 games. But the most incredible thing about Minecraft was online. I'd never played anything online, and then suddenly I went online in Minecraft onto a server, and there were other characters walking around, and they were actual other human beings at their computer playing, and it was just like, this is incredible. This is insane.
My first true experience with that was actually World of Warcraft, and back in the beta, and I was just like, I mean, I know EverQuest and all that came out before, but I didn't really play those. A friend convinced me to sign up for the World of Warcraft beta, and I got in, and I was like, this is insane. There are literally hundreds of people around me that are actual people right now. And it was mind blowing at the time, and now it's like commonplace, but it was really mind blowing at the time. But yeah.
So what did you get up to in your? Sorry.
Especially for somebody who went through all the different generations of consoles, like we had the Dreamcast had a online connection. Nintendo had online connection too, but it only worked in Japan. But the Dreamcast had one, but you couldn't really play online that much with other people. The first time I ever really played anything online with other people before World of Warcraft was probably PlayStation 2. One of the Resident Evil games came out. I think it was called Outbreak. And you could go online with that if you had the hard drive for your PlayStation and everything. And that was the first time I ever had a game where I went on the internet to play with somebody. But it was that was a big step forward. I was happy when that started happening.
What did we get up to in your console history? I think we went past Super Nintendo, I think.
Yeah, I think we got the Super Nintendo, and then I went to PlayStation. PlayStation was good. I loved the PlayStation 1. I don't really like what I call it the puberty of video games, where 3D looked horrible. I don't really like a lot of 3D games from that time period. I like more of the like some of the fighting games and stuff, like Tekken and whatnot. But I still like more of the JRPGs that came out at the time, like Suikoden and
oh yeah, my friend a couple of years ago found that game on an emulator on his computer, and he just got like super addicted to it.
It's hard not to, man. It's a really good game. The whole series I've played and love it. But yeah, JRPGs were my thing for a long time. I hated FPSs. Didn't really like GoldenEye other than for the multiplayer. The campaign bored me. That was really the first FPS that came out on consoles. I played some Quake and Unreal and stuff like that on my computer, but
oh yeah, Unreal.
Yeah,
I
that used to actually be a game back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you know what? The first FPS I ever played was actually it was like Doom, which wasn't really a 3D, but it was that pseudo 3D. But you were in a jet. It's called Descent. That was what it was called. You were a jet, and you're falling through corridors just like you wouldn't do in Doom, but you could turn like upside down and everything because you were like in space and you're like a space shuttle.
Oh,
and you got so disoriented. At least I did. But shortly after that, I played Doom, and I never really got into FPSs too much. The first FPS I actually played and enjoyed, unfortunately, was Call of Duty 4 on the Xbox 360, and then I started getting into FPSs more.
It's not really unfortunate. Everyone has their Call of Duty phase.
Yeah, and man, I had mine. Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2. I I got full prestiges and like all the challenge unlocks and everything. I put all the time into it, but then I noticed the trend of them doing horrible things with it pretty early, so I stopped giving them my money.
Okay, yeah, I've said it before on the podcast, but I got addicted to Black Ops 2, and I did all the prestiges and everything as well. And what got me to stop was just realizing how much time I was sinking into this thing, and the things I was not doing because I was playing it.
That's why I stopped playing WoW after playing it for I don't know how long I played WoW for. It was until Burning Crusade came out. So before release, till Burning Crusade came out, which is the first expansion. And I was the leader of a raid guild, and so I was constantly playing, literally constantly. I slept for about 4 hours and got back up and ate some Fruit Loops orange juice and went back to it. It was a simpler time. But that was about the same time. That was around the time I had a PlayStation 2, I think, if I can remember correctly. So yeah, PlayStation 2 is a cool console. It was okay. I don't really have any standout games on PlayStation 2. Maybe like Resident Evil 2 or some of the other Resident Evil games, but didn't really stand out that much to me. A lot of JRPGs on it again, which is going to be a trend on any system I play. I think there was one that stands out to me that most people don't know about called Okage.
it was you were this kid and your shadow got possessed by the Shadow King.
Ooh.
And you go on an adventure to basically do the Shadow King's bidding to save the world, as all JRPGs are.
Okay.
But it was really cool. It had a really cool art style. The sense of humor was really awesome. It looked unique. It played unique. The battle system was unique. It was really good. Got my Xbox 360 around the same time. Blue Dragon stood out on that for me, and 360 has a ton of good games. Who am I kidding? I have like 15,000 gamer score on that or something like that.
Jeez.
So, yeah, I have a lot of time put on my Xbox 360. It was a good console though.
Yeah, I think it was a good one. It was my first. I think it was probably the first. It was the first thing that I bought myself. I spent quite a bit of money. I had to buy a monitor, the console, headset, a bunch of things for it. So I spent probably as much as I would have spent on a PC. But it's because my friends were playing it, and I sunk a lot of time into that console, and it had some quite good games. But that was before I realized PC was amazing.
Yeah, well, I think when the 360 launched, it was still there was still a big difference between console and a PC, right? Consoles were you got these exclusive games, you bought the game, you had the game, and you didn't have to worry about patches and everything. You know what I mean? But then as they started getting more and more online connectivity, they just started becoming overpriced, underpowered computers, you know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at right now with the consoles. And the reason I'm not getting one of the current gen consoles unless something amazing comes out for them is I don't see the money for the investment personally. When I can get almost all the games on my PC, even if it's on a time delay, and my PC can run it better, and I don't have to worry about buying a new console in another couple of years.
Yeah.
Because I can just upgrade my PC for a couple $100. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm
that's just me, but that's how I'm feeling.
I'm almost boycotting the new consoles because if there are games that come out on them, like Destiny, that I want to play, I figure if they're not putting it on PC, then they don't want my money. So I'm just going to ignore it and pretend that it's not a good game.
I played Destiny on my 360.
Oh wait, that's right. It's out for the old ones.
Old consoles, yeah.
I didn't get it for those because it's just terrible graphic quality on 360s.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing through the story. I enjoyed the gunplay a lot. I enjoyed all that. But then I got to the end game, where I started doing PvP and strikes, and I did all the strikes, and I did all the different PvP stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'm not enjoying this. I am done. And I think
I guess that's
people.
That's kind of a thing that doesn't happen often with me is enjoying a game and then just leaving the game. Because like Borderlands 2 and Black Ops 2, the ones that really stand out to me is the games that I've properly played. I really enjoyed them and I kept playing them all the time. But I think it's a good thing if you can enjoy a game up to a point and then move on to a new game, because then you get new experiences as well.
Exactly. It was disappointing, though, at the same time from Destiny, because I was expecting Destiny to be a replacement for Borderlands almost in a way that I could sink my teeth into and really get into it in depth. But for some reason, my mic fell over. Sorry. But for some reason, I didn't feel that depth from it. There's something about how stagnant the world was and how it was exactly the same every time you went to a place that just killed it for me. Just because it wasn't even like a chance of a badass enemy being here. As if there's a badass enemy there is a badass enemy there. It was just exactly the same every single time. And
did I just hear a puppy, by the way?
No, that was actually somebody else yelling. That was not a puppy.
Okay.
Sorry.
That was a great noise. It was so weird. Talking of puppies, you were saying that you were taking them out before. How many puppies do you have?
Oh, I have 4 dogs.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have a blue merled Great Dane,
Oh,
who
yeah.
has bone cancer currently.
Oh, no.
He probably has it hasn't metastasized to his bone marrow yet, but so he's still around just on painkillers.
Oh,
But
poor
when it
guy.
metastasizes, we're gonna have to put him down, unfortunately.
How old is he?
He's 7. So
Oh, no.
he's well, they generally live to be, that's their average age is 7.
Oh, really? I thought about 10 was their
10 is
average.
old.
Oh, okay.
They tend to die pretty early. I got a
Yeah,
flat coat lab.
big dogs do have a shorter lifespan, don't they?
Yeah, they tend to, because either their hearts are too big or too small for their bodies, and that tends to cause problems.
Yeah, and a lot of dogs get cancer and things like that. Like I have a few friends that have had dogs pass away due to cancer, and that kind of strange thing, which is weird because you'd think they wouldn't live long enough for that kind of stuff to affect them, but
the shorter life. That's why they do like tests on like cancer medications and food medications and stuff on that on rats, because the rats have a short lifespan. So literally, their cell cycles are faster.
Okay.
So you can actually test the long-term effects of a drug or whatever on a rat.
Oh, right. So they have a higher chance of getting cancerous cells in a short period of time.
Right. Because their cell cycles are faster.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. Which is interesting. It's weird science stuff. But,
Yeah. It's a
the other one
science podcast now.
It's a science podcast. Let's get into the technical stuff. Flatcoat Lab, who's the oldest. A Hound mix. I have no idea what the heck she is. And Chocolate Lab.
Cool.
So they're all
What do
big
we pack?
dogs. Yeah, got a pack. They sure are. They're very well trained. I have a big fence around the backyard, and there's a double gate that can open up for like trucks can get in there and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll open that up to take the garbage out to the side of the road. The recycling and the garbage out to the curbside for the truck to pick it up. And they will just sit perfectly in a line at the gate waiting for me to come back in. And people walk quite regularly. People walk by and goes, "How do you do that?" I'm like, "Do what? Teach your dogs not to leave the yard." I was like, "Well, they left the yard. I told them no, and then I told them where to go, and I did that about 100 times, and eventually they learned, oh, we don't go any further than this."
That's great.
Yeah, it's just don't. I don't think a lot of people take time to train their animals. They just they get them, they love them, they feed them, but they don't train them.
Yeah,
And,
the dogs that live here aren't particularly well trained. Like, they'll listen to you, but sometimes they'll be a bit stubborn and like, "I don't want to listen to you. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
But I think it's because, like, previously, my flatmates have trained their dogs properly. But I think at this house there's quite a big section that they can run around on. So it's kind of like these dogs, they've let them have the good life, where they can almost do what they want half the time, and so it's a different kind of training, I guess. It's like the necessary things like going outside or like not barking or something like that, house training, all that kind of thing, but not sitting and staying and all of that kind of stuff. Not really those things.
Yeah, he'll stay and I can't forget what their central command is. He'll stay and it's not sit. Oh, well, maybe it is sit.
Sit
but
is
there's
quite
three
useful.
central-
Sit
Yeah,
is
those
kind
are-
of like stops them from doing whatever they're doing, if it's trained properly.
Yeah. I was teaching my dogs a back and place for heel, and then I learned that you should probably teach them heel because people tend to know that command. So if your dog gets away and they need to be called by somebody else,
Yeah.
but so I changed it. They know heel now.
Oh, you changed it.
Yeah, I mean, they know what you want them to do, right?
Yeah, so you just say
Because
that
they're used
word
to the training, so you just
all
start
the
using
time.
that word instead,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually they catch on. I can let the Dane. I take him to the park, and I just let him off leash, let him run around like a freaking deer. He looks like a deer when he's running, but all he is legs, you know.
Yeah.
And and then I'll say heel, and he just runs back and stands beside me, all perfect and pretty, head up in there, like
Oh, that's
okay,
great.
now what are we doing? Yeah, it's great. It really is great. It makes me proud every time.
I think we should probably stop talking about our dogs, even though it's so much
Yes.
fun.
I agree. Pickle mentioned the Wii U, which brings us up to current consoles, which is about where we were, right?
Right, yeah.
I like my Wii U. My Wii U is an actual console. The games that come out for it are exclusives, and they are pretty much the full game. They do release DLC, but Nintendo's DLC is legit DLC. You know, it's not
actually making the game.
It's not actually this missing parts of the game. It's new stuff. Yeah. And,
Wii U is probably the console that I'd be most likely to buy if I was buying a console, just because the exclusives are interesting exclusives that you can't find kind of the same thing for PC. And also, it's just like it's a proper console. It's how it really should be.
It's I've Captain Toad and Mario 3D World. I didn't play Mario 3D World last year because I didn't get my Wii till last year. But if it had came out last year, that would have been my game of the year last year by far. Mario 3D World is the most fun I've had in a game in a long time.
That's great.
If they would have put online cooperative play in that game, it would have been perfect. But for some reason, they decided not to. But Mario Kart, Hyrule Warriors. Captain Toad already said. Bayonetta 2, the Bayonetta 1 re-release.
I've heard. I haven't ever actually looked into that game, but I've heard it's an incredible story and just an incredible gameplay and stuff. Maybe not an incredible story. I've definitely heard about the gameplay.
Yeah, it's a spectacle fighter, and spectacle fighters are just, you're constantly in awe of what's going on screen, you know?
Yeah.
And they're great. It's like, Devil May Cry or something like that. But I think I like Bayonetta over Devil May Cry, but still.
I tried to play Devil May Cry. I bought it in a Humble Bundle. I tried to play it the other day on my PC with keyboard and mouse, and it was the worst experience. I'm never going back to it.
Third-person adventure games with keyboard and mouse, that's hard, dude. That's hard.
I need a controller. I mean, I've got an Xbox 360 controller, but I've got no connector for the PC.
Right.
I should get one of those.
They're not that much. I think they're like $15 American.
You can buy the connectors by themselves?
Yeah, I got the Microsoft connector I bought by myself. Because the play and charge kit won't actually connect the controller, right?
Yeah, which is really annoying.
You have to buy a little radio frequency receiver.
Yes, I didn't know you could buy that by itself. I've only ever seen it with another controller, and I'm like, I don't want to spend that much money and get a new controller as well, because I already have a controller. I don't know.
Yeah, I got mine off of Amazon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, I should look at that.
Game stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of good games lately. Before I hung up my Xbox, I went through a bunch of games on it. Wolfenstein: The New Order was probably the best game I played last year. I would love to play it again on PC just to get it with a full visual experience, you know?
Yeah. I need to play that. My flatmate played it, and he was like, it was a pretty disappointing game. I didn't really enjoy it. So I just looked kind of past it. But then I heard everyone was saying, Game of the Year, this is amazing. This is an awesome game. And it's just like, hang on, that's different to what I heard. Maybe I should look at this thing.
Well, to each person their opinion, right? But I think a lot of people get caught up into if the game doesn't have multiplayer, it's not good anymore type
right.
thing. You know
well, my flatmate, he's not a multiplayer gamer. He's very much a solo gamer. I think he just what did he say about it? It was like there was a lot of he saw in the trailers and things that there was a mech robot thing that you could control, and he was very disappointed at the limited amount of time you were actually using the thing. And from what I watched of it, there was like a cutscene type thing, and then there was like you got control over the character, but all you had to do was walk down. I think it was in the submarine, and you had to walk down the hallway and then swim out and grab a gun, and then it was over, and it was a new cutscene again. I was like, this is a bit strange, but I didn't see too much of the rest of it, so I don't have very good of an opinion on it.
I loved every second of it. I thought it was an amazing game. Really good.
That's good.
There's a lot of other stuff I played last year too, but most of it was out of the bargaining bin, so it wasn't like a release from last year. It was a lot of FPS games. There's one I played called Singularity, and it was I picked it up for I think it was 99 cents out of a bargain bin, and I expected it to be just horrible. It was amazing. It was legit amazing, and yeah, it was so
Singularity.
good.
I haven't
Singularity.
heard of that.
It's just weird. You go into an alternate dimension, of course, and anyhow, it starts out like it's gonna be a horror game, like it has like a lot of creepy stuff. Then about 30 to 45 minutes in, it just drops the horror facade and just goes all out like action.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, it was really good. It was really good. Oh yeah, the Halo titles, Left 4 Dead. I haven't played Red Dead Redemption.
Neither, yeah.
BioShock series. I love the BioShock series.
I played BioShock Infinite. I quite enjoyed that.
Have you played the other ones?
No, I haven't. I mean, I've got them on my PC, and I've been meaning to play them, but I just haven't got round to it.
I love BioShock 1 all the way through. BioShock 2, someone told me it was their favorite, and I gotta say, for the first 3 hours of the game, I was not feeling it. I was just like, this is really bad, guys. But then the game changes. Like 3 hours in, the game just completely changes and gets amazing. It's really good. Just it's a shame it takes 3 hours to get there. But once
it's weird that they would do that.
Great.
Because surely you'd want to make sure you hooked the person right away.
I guess they're trying to build atmosphere up or something. I don't know what it was, but because you're supposed to. I'm not to spoil, but spoilers.
Okay.
You're supposed to be a big daddy, right? In this one, and you
Big
don't
Daddy?
feel Big Daddy. That's right. You've only played Infinite.
Yeah.
They're the guardians of the Little Sisters. They're in these big submarines, like this deep
Oh,
diver
I've
suits.
seen the picture of them. Yeah.
You're supposed to be one of those guys, and you just do not feel like one for the first 3 hours of the game. You do not feel like a badass at all.
Right.
But eventually you start feeling like one for sure. It's really good. So this takes a while to get there, a long while to get there. But I played all those back to back on stream, and they were super fun. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, that's it for recent gaming. Other than what I've been doing lately, a lot of Borderlands. I have a lot of games on Steam I need to play. I probably will play. I've been playing a lot of stuff that people aren't interested in, like the Book of Unwritten Tales 2. No one's interested, but I'm still playing it. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, we got to play things for yourself.
Exactly. I got a bunch of stuff. I played a little bit of Torchlight 2 today with Queen before she went to work, and that seems like it's going to be fun. I think I'll probably put a lot of time into that here in the near future. Elder Scrolls Online goes free to play on the 17th, so I'll probably be playing that some again. Not free to play, subscription free, I should say.
Right.
And so I'll be probably picking that up because I did play it the first month it came out, just to try it out because I love the Elder Scrolls series like Skyrim and Morrowind and Oblivion and all those. So I figured I'd give it a run, and I was like, I'm having fun playing this. I'm not having enough fun to pay $15 a month to play it though, so I'll put it down. Yeah. But now that it's going to be subscription free, I'm picking it back up. So and doing my Borderlands thing, doing my challenges, doing my 100% challenge now. We'll probably do more one life co-ops with Zerker, and yeah, that's my gaming. That's my gaming stuff right now, man.
Sweet. I kind of want to know, did you make any like friendships or connections with people from your past gaming? Like, did it bring you and maybe your siblings, if you have any, together or anything like that? Because often there's a interesting, connections made between people just through gaming.
Me and my dad. My dad worked second shift his whole life, so the only time I ever saw him was on weekends, and he's usually the disciplinarian on the weekends.
Oh.
So I never really had much of a relationship with my dad. But when I became a teenager and I got my PlayStation and Tekken, and he was all over that. I mean, he played a little bit with me on my Super Nintendo. He played a little bit of like Killer Instinct and Teenage Mutant Ninja Tournament Fighters on Super Nintendo with me, but when I got my PlayStation and got Tekken, he really got that. We played for hours every weekend. It was super cool. My brother, me and my brother absolutely hated each other until absolutely hated each other, like fist fights if we were in the same room together type thing.
Oh no!
Until I was probably 21 when that changed. So 12 years ago. Oh wow! Am I 33? Yeah, 12 years ago. So we're good friends now. But yeah,
That's good.
if he was playing games with me, I'd beat him once, and he'd punch me really hard and walk away. So yeah. But I had a lot of friends that, I mean, that's what we did. My parents didn't like me playing violent video games when I was super young. My friend Lee Stebbins, who lived down the street from me, he had Street Fighter on his Nintendo, and
so you had to go down there.
Yeah, I was over there every day playing Street Fighter, man. It's either that or go to the arcade and use quarters to play. And that just wasn't gonna happen. I don't think I actually met like any people playing them. Like all the people that I played games with growing up were people that I
already knew.
But recently, like in modern times, yeah, I've met a lot of people through gaming.
Streaming games is
a
great way to
streaming
meet people.
And when I started playing Call of Duty, when I started playing Call of Duty 4, there was a guy at work who was like, "You have to get this game and play it." And I'm like, I don't think I'll like it. I don't really like first-person shooters. He goes, "You'll like it. Just get it and play it." So I went out at lunch and I bought it, and I got on and I started playing with his friends that he was playing with, and quickly, some of those people became some of my best friends. They still are some of my best friends. But so yeah, in more modern times, absolutely. But back in the day, no. And through streaming, of course, I've met a lot of cool people. Met Queen and met Zerker and a few others who are a little less consequential than they are. But yeah.
yeah. You and Zerker have a good relationship, I guess.
Yeah, man. I think Zerker's the type of guy that he lives in 4 or 5 hours away from me. If we live closer, I think we'd hang out all the time. But it's just what it is. So yeah, me and Zerker get along fabulously.
You guys are always streaming together.
We are. We're gonna start streaming together less though.
Why is that?
What was that?
Why was that you're gonna start streaming less?
We need to get back to growing our channels, and
right.
For some reason, streaming together is inhibiting that.
Stop having fun, guys. You're not allowed to have fun together.
Exactly, right?
I guess,
especially Zerker really wants to grow his channel. That's really something he really wants to get partnership. I mean, I do too, but I don't really need it as much as he wants it. So, so yeah, we're gonna. I mean, we're still gonna stream together probably several times a week, just not every day like we do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's the friendships and connections thingy. I'd like to know how you first got interested in live streams, and I guess you probably started watching them.
Yes. Let me go back one second. The friendships and connections.
Oh, right. Yeah. Sure.
I'm sorry. When we had the NES and Zelda 2: Link's Adventure came out, it's a difficult game. A lot of people haven't played it. It has a lot of intricacies to it. Since on the NES, there's not like a tutorial. You just have to figure stuff out, right? And especially the castles, like there were mazes, and some of them would have walls you could go through, but there's no indication you could go through that wall.
All right, so it's just something you had to find out.
Yeah, it is a really tough game. There was no like real internet guides and stuff back then. This is back in late '80s, early '90s. And but my dad would come home at night after his second shift job, and he would play the game, and he would actually get out like graph paper and like map out the game and mark stuff.
Oh yeah.
And when me and my brother would come home from school, we would get his maps and we would play the game based off his maps. And it was really cool, kind of the first time I ever really connected with my dad, sadly, but it was really cool.
I guess it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
It was. Yeah, it was very good. Bromance.
Yeah.
Whatever. But back to your new question.
Okay, cool. So the live streams and stuff. How did you find out about them, and what got you interested in I guess watching them and doing it yourself? So a while back when I was playing World of Warcraft a lot, there is these people that did this podcast on Justin TV. And I always thought it was so cool because I'd watch them do this stuff and they'd get tons and tons of tips or donations, whatever you want to call them. And they actually managed to get a studio and all this equipment and everything. Whoa. And it was so cool to see these people doing something they love.
having a passion for something they love and getting rewarded for it, you know?
Yeah.
More so than just, I mean, doing something you love is its own reward, right? But beyond that, getting rewarded for it.
Yeah.
And it was so cool. And I actually thought about trying to do something like that at the time, but it just kind of went into the back of my mind because I was busy with work, and at the time I was married, and you know I had a kid at some point and all that stuff. So I just kind of put it in the back of my mind. And then later on, I started playing Borderlands 2, and me and my other two buddies played it all the way through 1 to 50. We beat Terramorphous, and we were just going by Borderlands 1 rules, right? Where gear drops randomly, there's no assigned source of loot drops or anything.
Yeah.
So as we killed Terramorphous, my buddy Ant looked online to see what else there is to do in the game, because we wanted to keep playing it, because we played Borderlands 1 until Borderlands 2 came out.
Wow.
So we wanted to make sure we're getting all the content. And he calls me up and he goes, Busa, Ant, Busa, Ant. The bosses have assigned drops. And I'm like, what? He's like, the bosses in Borderlands 2 have assigned drops. And I was like, I think we found the game we're going to be playing for the next 10 years, man. He's like, I know. And we got stoked. So after that, I started looking at the internet for information. And I actually found some of Baru and Cathalion's videos on YouTube.
Right.
And first person I saw stream was Baru, and this was back before they had webcams. They probably had less than 100 followers, but there's just something about it was just magical. And I was like, I want to do this. So I immediately started getting stuff to do it. It took me a while to get the capture card, the microphone, get my computer in working condition so it could stream, figuring out the stream configuration for hook my Xbox up to my computer, and then stream from there. And but once I got it set up, I was like, yeah. And then I took a couple months off of not doing it because I was still working and stuff, and then I came back and started doing it. I started really doing it probably about a year ago. Probably been doing it for a year now, a little over a year.
Well, that's a long time.
So yeah.
When did you start? Was it a year and a half ago or something?
The first time I launched my account was probably a year and a half ago, but when I really started streaming was probably probably in February, March last year.
Right.
So yeah. So that's how I got into it, man. And I'm glad I started doing it. I really enjoy it. Every now and then I'll get my head stuck in the numbers or something like that, and I'll get kind of upset about it. But for the most part, I really enjoy it. Pro tip, don't look at the numbers, guys. Even if the numbers are good, don't look at them, because the numbers won't always be good, and then you'll get mad and wonder why your numbers aren't good. And there's no reason for them not being good. They're just not good.
Yeah, just focus on every individual stream and how much fun you're having in that, and the people that you're talking to in there, and that's the good way to do it.
Yep, it's
difficult.
Just have fun.
Difficult.
It is hard, man.
Ignore the numbers,
especially when January, I was getting 100, 150 people watching my streams several times a week. And when that stopped happening, for whatever magical reason it stopped happening, I was like, what is going on? I don't understand. I started messing with everything, and then finally I just realized I was just being, complete psychopath about it, and I just stopped.
Yeah. Well,
I did not.
It goes in cycles, I think. With school holidays and then back to school and things like that.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So sometimes you'll get lots of people watching, and then it all depends on many different things, and it's hard to control any of that, which is why it's why I think it can get a bit I guess not enraging, but just frustrating. Because you don't know you can't control it incredibly well, and you're wondering what's happening, but if you don't focus on that, then it's less stressful, I guess.
Yeah, just focus on it as a hobby, and you're hanging out with some cool people that drop by to hang out with you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much it. And I've really enjoyed it. I haven't had any. I've had very few negative experiences. Most of them have been positive. So
that's good. Yeah. So you were saying that you needed a capture card and you were using your Xbox and things. So were you were you playing Borderlands on your Xbox, and did you have like an Elgato or something like that and put it through to your PC to stream?
Yeah, I was
Right.
playing. I was playing on my Xbox 360 for the. I just got my PC in December. So before this, I was playing on Xbox 360 pretty exclusively when I streamed. Then I used the AverMedia Live Gamer Portable. That's the capture card I got. And yeah, I just had that ran through, and then I had that ran into my monitor. That I had to get cables for that too. I had to get that HDMI to DVI because my monitor doesn't have that HDMI input on it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of little things like that I had to get. But once I got set up and running and everything, it was actually pretty nice. Stream quality wasn't bad. I mean, considering what I was using a capture card and everything, it wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing it that way. I could get a lot of games like good games super cheap that way too. Like I did the Gears of War series, and I think I found all 3 Gears of War games for like $15.
Oh yeah.
And I just played them back to back on stream. And so being able to do stuff like that from a bargain bin at GameStop is a thing here in America. I don't know if it's a thing there in New Zealand, but
yeah, we've got similar things.
Okay, but yeah, it's just a game pawn shop basically. Yeah. So and you just be able to go pick up cheap games there, or just try games out blindly, like I did with Singularity. I pick up a game for 99¢, come home, play it on stream, and oh my gosh, this is amazing.
That's one. I guess that's one downside to PC and online download game stuff and things. It's just the
not being able to trade them in, not being able to. But there's still a lot of good Steam sales and stuff. So
exactly, yeah, they kind of make up for it in that respect.
Right. But yeah, so I made the switch. My viewers donated pretty much 50% of the money for my PC.
Oh yeah, I did see that on your channel. That's incredible.
Yeah, and it was great. I really wasn't expecting that outpouring of support, but everybody just kind of stepped up and did their part, and I was like, okay. And then when my computer died, I was like, well, I got half the money already. Let's do it. And it was here in a couple weeks, so I started up again.
That's great. Oh, so you had a hiatus, did you?
I did. I had catastrophic failure.
Oh.
on my old PC. It was done. The magic smoke came out. That smell of ceramic resistors burning.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's not good.
So no, it was not. It was super old though. It was quad core duo processor. A Radeon 5800, something like that. It has 512 megabytes of VRAM.
Oh my god.
And I had upgraded it to 4 gigabytes of RAM for the system memory.
Right.
So yeah, it was.
But it didn't need to be a gaming computer though, did it? It was just
it did not need to be.
Yeah.
It was good when it came out, over a decade ago when I got it, and it was a $2,000 computer. But
sure, that's what happens with everything. It's good with everything computers anyway. It's good when you first get it and then suddenly half a year later it's completely out of date.
I mean, that thing's still better than an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3, but
most computers are.
Yeah, that's not saying much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was trusty. It got me through. It got me through a lot of times.
Wait, are you saying it's still better now that it's broken, or even a broken version's better than a 360?
Well, I mean, if I could no.
No.
If I could figure out what was wrong with it, if I actually felt like getting my little oscilloscopes out and figuring out what was wrong with it, I could probably fix it. But it's not worth it. It's not worth the time.
Well,
I could probably
now
sell the parts for scrap for a couple $100.
You've got a way better computer now anyway, so you don't need it.
Exactly. Well, I could use it for. I could actually use my current PC to stream or to play the games on, and I could
and
run
then pass it through.
Yeah, and let that one stream it. I could do that, but I'm not going to do that. That'd be insane. My power bill would skyrocket suddenly.
Do that when you start doing it as your full-time job. But
yeah, exactly. If I ever get to the point where this isn't actually a job, then absolutely, I'll do something like that. But.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't think about when I first started buying things to stream with. I was like, I'm working. It was my first year of full-time working, so I had so much money. It felt like And I was like, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy the best kind of mid-range microphone that I can, and I'm going to buy almost the best graphics card, and I spent quite a bit of money on setting up my streaming setup and gaming setup, and the microphone. Like I love this microphone. It's just so amazing, but I really probably shouldn't have spent so much money on a microphone before I had even tried making YouTube videos and streaming. It was a bit of a strange purchase, but
yeah, it's kind of one of those things, though. You know, I mean, the better gear you have, the better quality material you can make. So,
and also the less you need to upgrade in the future.
Exactly.
Well, certain things anyway.
Exactly.
Right. I guess that's the setup stuff.
Yeah, my mic. Speaking of mics,
Mm-hmm.
you want me to talk about my mic?
Oh yeah,
now?
that's right. Yeah. What mic do you use? I was interested.
So, I did a lot of research, right? Because I saw people using the Blue Yeti Snowball and the Blue Yeti, and or I guess it's the Blue Snowball and the Blue Yeti, and that's all I ever saw people using. So I was looking it up, and I saw the Blue Snowball, and I was like, I don't think I want that, but I don't want to pay $100+ for the Blue Yeti. So I kept looking for other cathode mics like the Blue Yeti. I finally found this mic, this CAD U37. That's what it's called, CAD. That's the brand, I guess, and U37 is the model. And it's basically a Blue Yeti, but it costs $50.
Oh, nice.
I don't mind it. I would love a better mic, but it's not. Yeah, it's $50.
Yeah,
and it does what it needs to do, right? So
yeah, it does sound pretty good.
Considering, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, there is a little bit of like a reverb type thing. That's probably just because you don't have crazy sound dampening in your room or anything like that. Like I don't
That's
either.
exactly the problem.
Yeah.
I guess I could stream from a closet, but that'd be hot and inconvenient.
Yeah. Well, I stream from my room, and that's just way too hot all the time. But that's because I don't have any like fan or air conditioning in here, and it's on the side of the house that gets the sun. So, but yeah, closet would be just like far too hot and just crazy.
Well, that's where like a lot of the YouTube guys that I watch, like I know Matt Pat, he does game theory. He does all of his audio recording in a closet. That's how he gets his audio for his stuff to sound good. So it's a legit thing people do. I consider
it works. Yeah,
building a booth around my desk here, but it just seems a little overkill, right?
Yeah,
but
well,
maybe I'll do it someday.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it when you're famous.
When I'm famous.
Yeah.
I like how confident that sounds. When you're famous.
Yeah. When it happens.
If you get.
That's a thing I like joking about, because when I tell my friends that I'm streaming and stuff, it's like, oh, so you're famous now, so just like as a joke thing. But it's like, I don't know if most people do streaming to become famous, but to me, it's a strange thing, a strange reason to start streaming. I suppose if some people want to do that, then that's fine. But yeah,
I think there's two mentalities, right? There's people who generally have a lot of fun playing games and want to share that experience with other people, and then there's people who really like getting attention, and those are the two types of people that stream. I think there's there's mixtures of the two, but I think it's the two extremes. So, and we see all of them. I mean, we see versions of both all over the place.
Well, often both types, or any type of person that is doing streaming, can be interesting and entertaining, despite what the reason for them streaming. So it doesn't particularly matter most of the time.
Well, most of the time you're right. I mean, but there are people who do it pretty exclusively for attention, and fortunately, though, Twitch are Twitch has been cracking down on that type of stuff with their new policies and stuff since the Amazon purchase. So hopefully that'll disappear eventually.
What's that? I didn't know anything about that.
Oh, Amazon purchased Twitch.
Oh, right.
6 months ago, right?
I thought, I thought you were talking about you see people's Amazon wish lists. I thought you were saying that they were cracking down on people being able to have that. But no, sorry, I knew about the purchase by Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah, the attention grabbing thing. They started cracking down on people making what could be arguably sexual content.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've been cracking down on that a lot, which is good. Unfortunately, it kind of ruins the fun for other people. Like, you basically can't dance on stream, even if it's not in a sexual way. You just can't do it.
Oh, really?
Because it's against terms of service. Because
some people abuse it. Yeah,
take things too far. Yeah, exactly. But it is what it is.
One of those things.
Ruined his plans for a hairy mood cam.
Yeah, hey, you're not supposed to be reading. You're not supposed to be reading chat.
I'm not. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
That's all right. It's just that if the people on YouTube listen and you laugh at something in chat and they go, what's going on? It could be a little annoying for them. Don't worry about it though.
Okay, I'll cease and exist. I'll cease and desist, not exist.
I ceased, therefore I exist.
But I generally found Twitch to be, at least the community that I'm in, the Borderlands community, for the most part, to be pretty awesome. I know some people have had trouble with some of the other communities that they're really trolly and out of control and all that stuff. It could be the fact that I am who I am too, that I haven't had too much troubles with it. Because I mean, somebody comes into my chat that I don't know and they say something rude or offensive right off the bat, and I just ban them if that's the first thing I ever heard from them. You know? Right.
That's you mean like full on ban or just a timeout?
Usually if they just say something like over the top, just completely rude, and I don't even know their name because I've never seen them in chat before, then yeah, it's a ban.
Mm-hmm.
If I know you a bit, if I know you, I don't care if you pick on me or call me names and stuff. But if I don't know you yet, you dial it back a bit, man. Dial it back.
Yeah. You can't just start talking to someone rudely. It's got to be knowing that it's a joke and that it's a two-way joke rather than just you trying to mess with someone. I've had some people, only a few people, because I don't get too many people in my chat anyway. So the percentage means that. The low percentage of trolls means that I hardly get any, but sometimes one will come into chat. I've never banned anyone. I have timed someone out because they were just being silly, but generally I can... Okay, sorry, that's really distracting. What is this noise that's going on your end?
Oh, dude, you can hear that? I am so sorry.
It's alright. It was just... I started thinking about it and I couldn't remember what I was saying. The people sometimes come into chat and I find that I can diffuse them quite easily. I basically notice that they're trying to troll me and I'm just like, I just go, okay, hello stranger, I know you're trying to troll me. I'm just going to ignore you. So if you're going to stick around, then you're just going to be wasting your time. And then suddenly they leave. It seems to work. But one day I think I'll start banning people if they get annoying. It's definitely a useful thing.
Give me 1 second. Sorry.
Okay. It's all good?
Yeah.
Sorry about this technical difficulty, everyone. What should I talk about while he's gone? I've got to make this interesting if people are listening to it. Maybe I should start reciting my programming fundamentals worksheet from my recent lab. So here we go. So 159.101 Programming Fundamentals. Lab 3. Float variables, inputting ints and floats, comments.
What are you
Number
doing?
1. Oh, no, he's back. There we go.
What are you doing?
Nothing. I was just reading
a textbook?
The worksheet from my last lab for programming fundamentals.
Awesome.
Thought that would be the most interesting thing. No, it's all good. Things happen. This isn't a professional anything, so
yeah,
I can't be mad at all.
Just other people live here, and
one of
other
them
people.
is deaf. Yeah, one of them is deaf, and he
Oh.
sometimes puts his headphones on to listen to television, but he still has the television turned up to 100% volume while his headphones are on.
Right.
And that's what you were hearing.
That's fine. That's fine. What were we talking about? I can't remember. Trolls, I think. We should probably move on from that topic.
Yeah. I don't think we moved on yet, but moving on is good.
Yep. We shouldn't spend too much time on trolls because that's what they want. Okay. Alright, where was I up to? Got a list of things here. Right. Here's an interesting one. What do you think is your most fun or your best moments while streaming?
There was a moment during BioShock Infinite. There's actually a YouTube video out there somewhere. Got a user named Fluffy. I can't remember the numbers after his name. He made a video of it, a montage of it while I was playing BioShock Infinite, where when I walked up to Elizabeth for the first time on the beach and she's dancing with the band, on the little dock over the sea.
Yeah.
I just, for some reason in my head, I was like, wait a second. And I went and I put on Juvenile's Back That Ass Up during that. So she was dancing Juvenile's Back That Ass Up. So from that point on, during BioShock Infinite, whenever I saw something that looked like somebody moving very rhythmically or something, I would put on BioShock's Back That Ass Up.
Oh my god.
And
that's amazing.
And including like the little kids dancing and everything else. And it was amazing. And Fluffy made the YouTube video. I wish I had a link to it right now. But he made the video, and there's a point where I stared at this kid who was dancing around a pole, and he had a baguette, like holding his baguette above his head, skipping around this pole. And him doing that to back that ass up is just golden. It's magical.
That's great.
That's probably by far one of my favorite moments I've ever had streaming. It was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. There's a lot of other good ones too. But that just stands out. That really stands out.
Sweet.
There's been a lot. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you have any other ones that stand out a lot, then you can go ahead and talk about them.
I mean, I've beat a lot of games. Beating games, being triumphant in games is always awesome, especially doing it with other people around. I think I've introduced a lot of people, especially younger people, to some older games like the Zelda series and some other games that I've played on stream, which is really cool. Like, there's a guy who hangs out my stream a lot called Nimi's Revile, and he had never played a Mega Man game before, and he saw me and Zerker playing Mega Man X, and he immediately was like, I gotta play this game, it looks so good. And so he picked it up. He can't play it, apparently he's really horrible at it. But yeah, I got somebody who's young and had missed that whole era of games that are incredible and still are incredible. They hold up against time, because they're that good. They're not like that PlayStation era of games where if you go back and try to play them now, they're almost impossible to play because the graphics are horrible, the controls are horrible. We just dealt with it at the time because it was the best thing we had. But it's just nice to send people back to the golden era of games, what I consider the golden era of games, and having them enjoy those experiences too. That's really cool.
That's what I reckon, and I've said it before, I reckon that's kind of the best thing about streaming is sharing experiences with the people that are watching. It's a great thing to be able to do.
It really is. Absolutely. Yeah, I see this type of entertainment becoming bigger and bigger in the future. There'll be more sites doing this for sure, and doing it in different categories and different things. Live entertainment that isn't pornography has a big future for it. It really does. Especially free. Like that's the big part about it, right? You don't have to pay for cable bill or satellite bill or whatever to get this entertainment. You just
got to have internet, and then you got it.
Yeah, you have internet, you have it, and most people are going to have internet anyway. So I mean, you just hop on and you watch it, and
it's great. Yeah,
it really is. And the stuff that stays around because of the support of the viewers. There's no other reason. I mean, the only reason they can keep doing what they're doing and do keep doing what they're doing
and
is
want
because
to keep
the support of the is because of the support of the viewers.
Yep.
So if something doesn't work, it just disappears.
Yep. Actually, yeah,
which-
that's a good point. It's a very efficient system for bringing out good content.
Yeah, it is. And you get like I want people to start doing it this way more. Some people do this. Some of the bigger streamers do this, where a new game comes out and streamers get that game and they play it. And instead of having to read a review or watch a video review, you can watch the person play it and get their visceral, at the time, reaction of that game and what they feel about that game while they're playing it.
Yeah,
and
that's
see them
often
play it.
That's often a good thing about YouTube, is you can see gameplay of new games. But I guess the good thing about a live thing is you can actually talk to the person about what they're thinking about the game they're playing, and get their live opinion on it rather than
even the Let's Plays and stuff on YouTube are somewhat edited. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's not always their at the time opinion.
Right. So yeah, the whole being able to see them boot the game up, start it up, you get to see all the bugs, all the glitches, all the crashes, all that stuff that happens, and you get to say, well, yeah, sure, I'll pay $60 for that game, or I'll wait till it's less money, or I'm never going to play that game. So it's great. Unfortunately, that probably means also we'll probably get a lot less story-based games coming out of developers, because if you can watch a streamer play it and get the entire story while they're playing it, then what's the point of buying it?
Yeah, I think my favorite games are the story-based ones. If a game has a great story, then I'm usually wanting to play that, and so if that happens, then I'm going to be a little bit annoyed. Yeah, but I guess we can't. We can't stop that if that happens.
When I say story-based, I mean things more along the lines of like the Telltale games, for instance.
Yeah, although those are doing quite well.
In the game, yeah, but where your input in the game doesn't really make that big of a difference.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You can see the main storyline from most people's games. So, yeah, I understand that.
Dogs. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My dogs opened my door, came in the room, and I'm like, hey, dude, what's up? So I go close the door, and now they're like, oh, now we want out.
Oh, no. Yeah,
no,
I've got dogs. No. I can hear them out the door down the hallway. We've got a gate in the hallway so they can't come down this end if we don't want them. But I can hear them like squeaking out there. They're wanting to come in. I feel so cruel, so mean. But if I let them in, they'd probably start like huffing and puffing in the background and being annoying. So
professional. To your dog's happiness.
Oh, I have to.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the future of live streaming now that it's the type of thing where even countries with the worst internet infrastructure are capable of watching the type of content that can be live streamed. It's great. I'm looking forward to well, obviously they're gonna start doing more stuff. Like I think more events will start doing live broadcasting on the internet like this rather than paying a television broadcast company millions and millions and millions of dollars for the right to broadcast on their channel. Yeah. Or however that works. I don't even think that's how that works. I think they get the ad revenue from commercials, but
yeah, I don't know how it works either, but yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a future thing that no one's really expecting, because I know a lot of people don't understand it, especially people older than me. I'm 33. I think I'm 33. I'm 33. And I get it. I get why people do this and watch this. But still in the back of my mind, I still have to think to myself, why am I watching someone play video games?
It is a bit of a strange thing. And if you don't ever try it, if you don't ever watch people doing it yourself, then it's kind of like, what is this thing? It's so weird, and I'm not even going to look at it sometimes.
Yeah, instead of watching a story that someone has spent, all this money writing, hiring actors to do, producing, and making the movie up. Instead of watching that, you're watching somebody. Yeah, you're just watching someone play a video game,
do stupid stuff on the internet. Yeah,
yeah, and it's brilliant. It really is. Hopefully it keeps going. I don't see it going anywhere. I see it just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yep.
But
I
yeah.
hope it does. I hope it does.
But that also means it's going to get oversaturated really quick, just like YouTube did, and it's going to be hard for newcomers to break into it. But it'll still be a good thing.
Yeah, that's what happens with a lot of things. As long as the communities stay strong, like I guess one thing I've noticed with the Borderlands streaming community is it's quite good for. There's a lot of people that kind of exclusively watch Borderlands content, and so there's room for small communities to grow and share viewers around, and so there's kind of, I think there might always be room for some. Ooh, things are happening. There might be room for new people to kind of break into it in the smaller communities, but yeah, hopefully there stays the ability for new people to start, but it probably won't be that way for on the most part anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's still new people that get on YouTube all the time, right? It's just it's a lot harder. Like the number of people who submit their first video and the number of people who submit their first video and it actually gets attention and they keep doing it is such a small percentage, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sorry, that's what happens when a 200-pound dog barks. I apologize.
It's all right. It's all right. I've had my fair share of barking dogs on streams.
They are very loud. Very loud. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've actually watched people grow, right? Like I said, I watched Baru like before he had 100 followers and he didn't have the webcam. He was streaming on a ridiculous connection. I can't remember what it was, but he could not, like, his quality was horrible.
Ooh.
But he was one of the best Borderlands streamers out there still. So I've actually watched him grow from that nothing to what he is now, the biggest Borderlands streamer on Twitch right now.
Yep.
And it's cool. It's cool to see somebody go from nothing to something like that. It really is. Where he's actually making his living doing this now, to the point where he's hiring people to help him do what he's doing.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
And I like that as a viewer and as someone who kind of supports those people that start doing it as a living, you feel good about that because you can help them get to that stage by giving your support through viewing and through monetary support and things like that. That's one of the amazing things I think about streaming and the streaming community is that it can make everyone feel good. Even people feel good about spending money on it because it's like you're getting something for free for the most part. And so when you have the opportunity to give back to them, you feel good about that. It's not like you want the product and you have to pay for it. And it's kind of like, I wish I could just have this for free, or I'm just going to download this for free. And
it's more of a thank you type thing, yeah?
Yeah. It's like, I appreciate the effort you're putting into this, and I want to help you continue to do this, and I want to show my support.
Which, if you think about, isn't that, I mean, considering how entertainment is not really a necessity, other than for sanity purposes, it's not really a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
Should that not be the monetary basis of any type of entertainer or entertainment in general?
Yeah.
It should be, you give us your content. If we want you to keep making it, we'll let you know.
Yeah, because I
I
think generally most people want to, because it's a good feeling to give back to people who are giving things to you, and so I think generally most people, if that becomes the norm, most people will want to support the things that they enjoy and the things that they love. So yeah, I think it's one of the best kind of. Certainly, it doesn't make as much money as a big blockbuster movie that comes out in cinemas and then goes on to Blu-ray, but...
Well, that's questionable, right? Because, like a while back, Radiohead did that project where they self-published their albums on the internet without a publisher. And they actually made more money themselves than they ever did from their publishers when they were paying publishers to do it.
Yeah, actually, that... I mean, they possibly did they make more money overall than they would have in the first place? Because sometimes it's that that you're making less money, but you're making it for yourself rather than for other people as well, because you're doing it yourself.
No, because having to hire all those people to produce, to label, to ship, to put it in stores, to advertise it, and all that stuff, that has all disappeared. And
Right.
all it was they made music, they put it on the internet for free, and if people wanted to give them money for their music, they could. And
I like that things are going that way. It's great.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. That's to me that's how entertainment should be. But I mean, if you're good at it, you'll get paid, and you can keep entertaining. Otherwise, go get a different line of work. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I'm just looking for a link here. I'm gonna put it in Twitch chat. It's for a straw poll that I've got. I'll also put it in the description of the YouTube video that this is on. So if you're listening to that, you can go into the description. It's below the like button and the subscribe button, guys. Come on. No,
down there.
There'll be a link to a poll that I'm doing. It's just basically I'd like to know the people that are enjoying the podcast, the people that want to continue listening to the podcast. I'd like to know your opinion on having face cams in the podcast. I was talking to Hyubusa about this just before we started streaming, and it's an idea that a couple of people have given to me, and is also something a lot of other online podcasts do. Online podcasts? They're all online. Anyway, live podcasts do, is have a face cam, because I think there are quite a few people that enjoy having something to stare at, or having something interesting on screen to look at while a podcast is going on. So anyway, the link's there. Just if you would like to see face cams on the podcast, then say that, and I will look into how to do that, and it might become a thing. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
Got that out of the way. I've got a few more questions here, and then we'll do the Q&A from the Twitch viewers, if there are any questions that anyone wants to do. But how are you for time, Hyubusa? Are you?
Oh, I'm fine, sir.
You good?
Excellent.
Sweet.
Yep.
Sorry, I just needed a drink there.
Understood.
Right. So this is a thing that I haven't talked about yet. You don't stream all the time. You have a life outside of streaming, I hope.
This is true.
Yep. Is there anything you want to share about that? Like maybe your work outside of streaming, your passions or hobbies that you have? Anything like that?
Yeah, I can do that. So my work outside of streaming is I am an interactive media developer. That is what my master's is in. So I am a highly educated idiot. I used to so I started out, I just got a general computer technology degree, and I started working at a corporation called American Tire Distributors. They're the largest tire distributor in America. And I was doing their web design stuff.
Oh, yeah?
My first job ever, like pro job doing what I did. And then from there, it just I kept doing schooling while I was working, and I kept working while I was doing schooling, and kept doing it. And eventually I just realized it was really easy for me to get side work, and eventually side work just turned into my work. I started doing contracts for, I started doing it for individuals, and then I started doing it for small businesses, and then I started doing it for corporations.
So is this web development and things like that?
Yeah, not just web development. I do web development, internet development, kiosk designs. What I currently do, like most of my jobs, is there's a place called Discovery Place, a kids museum, or an educational museum, I should say, not necessarily kids museum. And I actually design, create, program exhibits for them. And it's a really cool job. It's really cool. I am doing it less and less because I have failing vision, and I can only do it while my vision is good, which is about a month out of every 3 months. I can see good enough to actually work.
Oh wow,
So
I think we should talk about that as well if you are okay with talking about that, because that's quite a big
Yeah.
thing in your life.
it is. I
Unless-
have
Yeah, go ahead, do that. Yeah, sorry.
okay. I have late onset Coates disease. Basically, I have malformed blood veins in my eyes, and they will occasionally burst and bleed into my eyes, letting blood and cholesterol into my eyes, causing pressure issues, causing retina detachments, causing all kinds of things like that. Not to mention the swelling that goes into my eye. I've had multiple surgeries and retina reattachments and all that stuff. I am almost completely blind in my left eye. I have one quadrant of vision left, and it's very distorted. And in my right eye, I've only had one retina detachment in that eye, so the vision's not terrible as long as I have an implant in my eye. And the implant's basically a steroid pump, just like you would get a chemo pump put in if you had cancer. Some cancer patients do. This is just a little pump that puts steroids into my eyes so that my veins stop busting and my eye doesn't swell. I've been dealing with it for a while, but over the last year it got really bad, and I had to get a bunch of different surgeries to keep it from getting worse. So yeah, that's changing my life significantly. My vision is just the way it's set up. I can't get the surgeries that most people would get to correct it because the malformed veins are closely knotted within my optical nerves. So I can't actually get normally what they do is they go in and freeze them, and that would kill them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but unfortunately, I don't have that option. So I have to get continued maintenance, and the maintenance will just keep me with as much vision as possible for as long as possible until eventually there will be no vision left. But hopefully that'll be several decades down the road.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man. It's quite
Right.
It sounds like quite a scary change to have in your life, but you're talking about it so calmly, and so I guess you've had time to come to terms with it.
You know what? I got really freaked out by it for a long time.
That's completely understandable.
When it actually happened, I was actually at the same time this happened. The first time it happened in my left eye, it happened a long time ago. And it was we just thought it was a retina detachment for no reason. We didn't really know what was going on, and so we got my retina reattached and just kind of moved on. And the second time it happened, in the left eye again, the doctor still didn't know what was going on, so we tried a different type of reattachment. We did some laser surgeries afterwards, and we moved on. And then when it started happening in my right eye, I got super worried, so I started going to different specialists, and I kept going to specialists until somebody finally gave me an answer on what's going on. I kept going, and they're like, we have no idea. So I finally found one who said, oh, yeah, you have this. I was like, okay, you're my doctor now. Yeah, I've adjusted. A lot of bad things that happened along the way. I got really freaked out for a while. I actually started suffering, this because of the stress of the situation. I started suffering from panic attacks, and I was anxiety ridden. I couldn't go in public with crowds of people. I would just start feeling nauseous and sick, and I had to leave in order to get over that feeling. Eventually I had to go to group therapy for that, got over that, started getting back into the groove again, and then I started having problems with my eyes yet again. And I've come to terms with it. That's the best way of saying it. I realized that my education up to this point hasn't necessarily been a waste, even though technically it's going to be put to waste here soon. But there's plenty of opportunities for me, right? There's plenty of stuff I can do with or without vision. So
Yeah.
I'm trying not to define myself by one physical attribute. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be quite difficult, but you're still around. You've still got your legs and arms and brain and everything. So
Right.
I'm sure there's a lot that you'll adapt. People adapt.
Yeah, we do exactly, and I have a lot of support. Family, friends, wise, and everything else. So I don't think I'll be left in the dark. So I'll be okay.
That's good.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm glad you're able to talk about that. It's an interesting
man.
thing to talk about. It's a scary thing to talk about, but yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But yeah, I guess talking about it helps me too. Just being able to say the words to people, and that helps me come more and more to realization that this is happening, but there's not really no, you're not in control of the situation. You should just deal with the situation since you can't control it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you should go
but
into podcasting as well.
Yeah.
You don't need eyes for that. Well, I mean,
I've got my I am a registered nutritionist and a personal trainer as well.
Oh wow.
Even though I'm not in shape right now, I did go to the schooling for that once I started having the eye problems because I was like, I gotta do something that doesn't require vision. And that was the first thing that popped into my head because I was a power lifter and I was like, let's just do this. So I might fall back on that. I might fall back on something else. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't really decided 100% yet on what it is I'm going to fall back on. But as far as work stuff goes, that's it.
And
my desire was, the reason the whole education thing was, is I wanted to get into the game industry. But I was never able to get an internship anywhere. I don't know why. I guess the competition was too much. I was never able to get an internship. So this fell through, and I wound up doing more practical applications rather than playful applications of my knowledge.
Right.
Yep.
But you still had time to do all of your playful stuff in your own time as well.
Exactly. Which, in hindsight, that's probably a blessing, right? Because I think if I was working on making video games all day, maybe I wouldn't want to play them as much.
Yeah, often I don't know if that is the case with the people that are working in the industry, but often you do hear that people really enjoy something and it becomes their job, and it can just become the job rather than the interesting thing that they enjoyed doing in the first place. So yeah, it might be a blessing.
Yeah, I like that question, man. Good question. Get down on the personal level with people.
Well, I mean, yeah, the point of the podcast is to have an interesting conversation with interesting people. So when there's good topics, well, interesting topics to talk about, then hopefully I can see them and ask them. Yeah. I guess that ties in with another question I was going to ask of what your plans for the future are. Most people, it's I want to keep doing the streaming thing, and some people it's I want to get a partnership and do this as a full-time job. But I guess your situation is a bit different. So with the streaming side of things, what are your plans?
Right now, I'm gonna keep doing it. If I get a partnership and that happens, and I could make $300 a week roughly doing it, I'll do it full time. But until otherwise, until I can't. But I'm a very go with the flow type of person, so I tend not to make huge plans for the future. I just kind of go with things in the moment,
That's
so. And I say a lot apparently, but
it's like I say apparently a lot. Apparently.
I was so yeah, I'm just gonna go with the flow. I'll keep doing it as a hobby for now. I'm thinking about making some YouTube content and see how that goes. And yeah, that's I don't have really hard plans. I really thought I was gonna get partnership there at the beginning of the year when I was hitting huge numbers, but those numbers tend to have waned significantly, so I don't see it in my near future. But if I get partner, I'd be thrilled to have that sub button and to have the quality settings and everything else. That'd be great.
Well, good luck, man. It's always cool to see new people getting partnerships and being able to do it more often and better quality and things like that. It's always cool to see. So I hope it works out for you. Definitely hope that works out. Now, I don't have too many... Oh, sorry. Yep.
I was just going to say, it'd be cool just to have the partnership on the channel anyway, because I could always hand off the channel to somebody else eventually.
Ooh.
And the channel would still have its partnership. So there's always that. But yeah, go ahead.
Right. I was going to say, I don't have too much else to talk about, and we've been going for quite some time. Usually, the last ones haven't gone too much longer than this. But we've covered quite a few things, so it's been a good podcast so far. So I'll just let the small number of Twitch viewers know we're doing the Q&A quite soon. So if you have any questions, just chuck them in chat. But otherwise, I'll just ask a couple more things. One thing I've been asking everyone is, do you have any advice for new streamers or just anyone that's thinking about streaming or currently streaming? Any advice or wisdom that you've picked up along the way?
Seriously, if you're streaming, do it to have fun. If you're not having fun playing a game, don't play it because that game's popular. Don't play it because you get more viewers doing it. Or if you think you'll get more viewers doing it. Just have fun. And if you're having fun and someone comes to your stream and sees you having fun playing the game, they're going to watch you. Yep. If you're not having fun, some people enjoy watching people being miserable, but generally that person is being miserable is having fun being miserable. So
yeah. It's like Baru the last couple of days playing his enraging games.
Yeah, exactly.
He's still entertainingly annoyed.
Yeah, exactly. You have to have fun. If you're not having fun, you're not watchable. So
exactly.
Yeah. Do it. Just have fun doing it. If you're not having fun playing the game, switch games. If people stop watching you, like me, for instance, if I don't play Borderlands 2 and my viewer count drops to 8, it drops to 8, man. I'm still having fun doing it. And those 8 people, and there's new people that come in and follow me for that new game, they get to see me do different content too. So there's different viewers for different stuff. And
it's like what you were saying earlier. Don't focus on the numbers. Focus on the experience that you're having.
Exactly. Focus on that experience. Focus on meeting the people that are in your chat and chatting with them as much as possible. Be interactive as much as you possibly can. Be interactive with your chat. Sometimes chat dies, and that happens. But when your chat's active, interact with your chat. Read it. Respond to it.
Definitely. That's a big thing, because otherwise, why are you streaming? Why are you streaming?
Exactly. Because you want attention instead of the experience. But those are the 2 people I was talking about.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's good advice. Thanks for saying that. I hope people take that on board. Another quick thing. What are you looking forward to most about your streaming?
I want to honestly play games, give my opinion on them, and have people say, "I got this game because Busa suggested it to me." I think having
the power.
It's a God complex type of thing. Yeah, exactly. It's a power. Having a following of people who go, "What is your opinion on this game?" Based off your opinion is going to decide whether or not I get this game. I think that'd be awesome. That'd be so cool to have that power. It would be neat.
Yeah, I don't think there's many people that would say that was a thing they wouldn't want to have.
Right.
It's a very I'm trying to look for the right words to say this, but it's like
intoxifying.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know if I'm ever going to get to this. Sometimes I just blank out when I'm like, there's something here, I know it, but it's going away from me. No, I don't know what I was going to say.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well done.
So I'm a great podcast host. This is incredible.
But really, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to if I ever get big enough to getting potentially getting like early releases of games and playing them on stream, early release for people, and then giving them my opinion and stuff. That's way down the road. I'm nowhere close to big enough for that type of stuff, but that'd be awesome. I would like to be a not really reviewer, but just like a guy who plays the games early and lets you see them early, so that you know if you should go pick it up on Tuesday or not.
Yeah.
Which is when games release in America. I think it's same everywhere, isn't it? Tuesdays.
Well, I mean, I think. Oh yeah, because usually games come out a bit earlier here than they do elsewhere. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think. Well, let's go Tuesdays. It's easy enough.
But, yeah. So yeah, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
I know I'm outspoken about a lot of things like that. Like I'm outspoken about people not pre-ordering because it ruins the industry. Because once they get enough pre-orders, they just stop working on the game and put it out to the market.
Yes, guys, stop pre-ordering. Holy crap!
And also the whole if someone does review embargoes on their game, until noon the day it releases, you
Yeah.
probably shouldn't pick up that game.
Yeah,
Just
there's something going on there.
Unity again.
Or just wait a bit and see what it's actually about. Get other people's opinions.
Exactly. And I would like to have the ability to influence culture enough to make that change, that people would actually stop doing that. So, but is what it is.
So it's not really a god complex. It's like it's almost I want to help people not make silly decisions about what they're buying.
Yeah, exactly. It's the whole changing the world, not letting the corporate what's the word for them? Corporate screws get your money, because that's their whole goal. No matter how hard of a fanboy you are, a corporation's goal is to get your money.
Consume.
Yeah, that's their whole goal, and they will do whatever it takes to do that, including bad business practice.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you let them, they'll keep doing it. But yeah, so I would like to change the world one little piece at a time. And you know what they say? If you want to change the world, first look in the mirror and change yourself.
Oh my god! So
God.
deep. This podcast just got so deep.
Yes, we need enhancement materials to continue at this point.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else that I wanted to ask you, and it doesn't look like there's been any questions asked, which is a little unfortunate, but I guess that's what happens. Did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about, particularly on the podcast?
No, man. I really wanted just to get when you invited me on here, I was excited. I was just excited to get on here and hang out with you for a few hours.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I'm glad you came on. Thanks very much for that. Yeah, I really enjoy this. Like I probably enjoy this more than streaming a lot of the time, because it's nice to have a good conversation with interesting people. It's great.
Right.
Thank you very much for coming on. Now is your chance to throw everybody your links and where to find you and what you do.
I am MrHyubusa everywhere. That's MrHyubusa. That's YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, whatever. I currently only really do Twitch content. You can go to MrHyubusa.com if you don't want to type Twitch TV/MrHyubusa, and I'll take you to the same place. I play a lot of Borderlands, but I am a variety streamer. I've beat over almost 60 games on stream at this point, and I will continue doing that. I'm currently doing Borderlands challenges, Borderlands 2 challenges, and we'll continue doing that for the next little while. So yeah, check me out, MrHyubusa, on social medias and on everywhere else.
Go follow him and like him and subscribe to him everywhere, guys. Do it.
YouTube content coming soon.
Woo! It's good branding, by the way, MrHyubusa everywhere. I keep having a little gap when I'm trying to say your name.
Well, you're saying it better than I am, because I keep saying Hyubusa just so they can spell it right. So
right, yeah.
Hyubusa.
Hyubusa. I take it that's not your real name, by the way.
For internet purposes, yes. My name is Adam Hyubusa.
There you go. Sweet.
But, yeah.
And I'll just pimp out my links as well. I'm Mr. Gruntle everywhere, so that's on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And I actually have a hitbox now, if you guys want to check it out. I sometimes stream on there. I'm trying to almost transition my gaming over there because I like that platform a lot. You people should check it out. But yep, that's all my things. Thanks. I guess this is the time to say thanks to everyone that's listening. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the content. I hope you learnt a bit about Hyubusa, who he is, the interesting person, the interesting life, all of that good stuff. And I hope you'll join me next time for another podcast. I don't have another guest lined up yet, but I have people interested, so if you follow me on Twitter, I'll let you know. And yeah, that's all from me. Thank you very much for watching, and Hyubusa, do you want to say anything to anyone?
This one said bye, everybody.
Bye.
And
Thanks
for
watching.
listening.
Listening, yeah. Well, not watching. Hopefully not watching, because it's a blank, not a blank, but a static screen. Alrighty.
Stare at it long enough, you can blink and see the inverse colors.
Oh my god.
Science.
Alright, guys. Thanks for listening. Catch you guys later.